Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering March 27th through April 2nd, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these to be timeless readings, meaning whenever this video shows up for you, that is the time that the messages are meant for you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. I don't have much to say in my intro other than I was sitting here creating the space and the energy for this week's reading, and I started to hear the sirens going by, and I wanted to work with the Divine Feminine Oracle cards this week, but then I kept hearing the sirens, and as many of you know, the sirens are a symbol of what I connect with the Archangel Michael. So I paused and I was like, Michael, am I supposed to be working with your cards this week? But it didn't feel right. And then shortly after that, I started to hear a mourning dove outside cooing right outside my window. And it's been going on and on. And for me, the mourning dove represents the energy of peace. And I started to feel out the energy, fierce, and then peace, soothing right behind it. So again, as the world starts to awaken and come out of this seclusion, this place of separation, and as many, with the spring, many businesses are opening up. There's a lot of outside of activities. Concerts are starting again, and we're talking globally. It is still unclear how we've all been affected when we gather together in community and we start seeing, and as Earth Angels, you're intuitive, you're perceptive, you're observant and empathetic and sensitive and compassionate and loving. So I feel like this week I want to support you in all facets of how you may be feeling, right? Regardless of what's going on in your life, the entire planet has been affected by massive change. And we never really know the effects of change until we start doing the things that we did before that change. So for me personally, I am noticing I'm having really beautiful, wonderful experiences in my life now. And it's also bringing memories up of my past when I didn't have that energy of love and support and connection, and passion and feeling aligned. And so I just want to speak to that part of the healing journey this week as spring starts and things start coming in bloom. For the last couple years, our springs have looked very different. So, I just want to sprinkle some energy and say, honor your feelings this week. And, with the emotions, we can always add in the and. I can feel sad about what has happened in the past and who's not here anymore, and the experiences that have come up, and I can feel incredibly grateful and loved and proud of myself, right? With the experiences of my past, whether it's loss, whether it's grief, whether it's fear, whether it's really, really hard things to move through, things that, you have to walk away from, things that you have to set boundaries for. So my prayer and my intention this week is to support you in bringing in peaceful energy upon you. Again, with the signs that I was getting of Michael, coming up with the sirens, I feel like he's always threaded through the energies of these readings, and the reminder is help is on the way. You're not alone. And I have found incredible growth in being open and vulnerable to support, healthy support in my life, unconditional love kind of support, love without conditions, right? And because of that, I feel like the last few years, I have learned a lot. I shouldn't say within the last 5 years, I've learned a lot, and I've grown and overcome and, took leaps of faith in ways that I hadn't been able to before. And I attribute that to the support that I've been open to in my life as a quadruple Cancer. I have a tendency, and empaths and highly sensitive people and earth angels have has a tendency to cocoon up, to withdraw, to go within. And I did that for a lot of years, almost like hiding out. And I feel like the energy that we're going into is time to like bust out of the soil, let this shoots come up from the ground, let us pop our heads out, and trust that the healing work that you've done will align you with healthy support that aligns with nurturing and loving and kindness and peace and generosity and connection, above all things. Again, we're in a 6 universal year. I know I said I didn't have a lot to say, but I guess the divine has a lot to say. We're in a 6 universal year now, and we're now redefining what home and family and love and connection and community and self-expression looks like, right? And the beautiful thing is that we're softening in our self-expression, right? We're opening to receiving and hearing and listening, which I think is so powerful, because that gives us the opportunity to act instead of react, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see how the next few months unfold. So without further ado, let me get into the energies that I'll be working with this week. So I'm going to start with the Divine Feminine Oracle. So I'm going to pull a guide for the week and a message, a theme. I will then pull from the Soulful Woman guidebook a message of healing. And then your action steps to support you this week will come from Flower Therapy Oracle cards. And what you're being gifted with this week will come from the Secret Language of Light. And then finally, we'll finish with an overall message and prayer from the Wild Offering Oracle. All right, so let's start here. Let me invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for you this week, March 27th through April 2nd. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, so I want to connect my heart to the heart of the Divine Feminine Oracle beings. All right, so let's begin. What guide wants to support the Earth Angels this week? There she is. Again, my style is to wait for them to pop out. And here we go. Green Tara, the Buddha of enlightened action. It says, my soul informs my every step. I do what my heart compels me to do. And friends, we've been working with this energy for the last year, but the last few weeks. Let me see, probably in 2021, I started sharing about embracing silence, stillness, pause, rest, nothingness, surrender, these sacred words that give us an opportunity to access this energy. Listening to the wisdom of your heart song, a lot of my work over the last 10 years has been around teaching people how to access the wisdom inside of them to be living a purposeful life. And I do that with the archangels. I do that with life path numbers. I recently started working with the 9-year cycle and numerology. And what I'm finding is that, and I've known, but I've been sharing this a lot with new clients that I've been seeing lately, is that living a purposeful life is not necessarily connected to the job you do and how you make money. And so that is where I start when I do work with new coaching clients, or I do work with people coming in, working with life purpose. I have to say, it's been really beautiful to see the masculine energies coming through my door. Cops, prison guards, construction workers, business owners, these masculine energies. And what's even more beautiful is they're coming in with their girlfriends and their wives. And now I'm starting to see couples developing spiritually together and getting excited. They're coming in for mediumship, right? Connecting with their loved ones. They're coming in for life purpose numbers. They're coming in for divine guidance. And let me share, I'm not a couples therapist, but what I do is I work with their numbers and I work with their guides and their loved ones to support them where they're at right when they come in. So they're about growing and evolving and spiritually developing, right? And so what I find is that, these couples, it's just not like masculine and feminine energies. I'm seeing many varieties of couples coming in who have worked on their own individual selves, and now they're growing, evolving, and learning together in partnership. And this goes along with, I've been saying it since 2017, that Mother Earth started a brand new 9-year cycle. And I kept feeling like the theme of this 9-year cycle that ends in 2025 is reintegrating the energy of true love back on the planet, right? And in order to activate that energy, we have to start seeing where we love conditionally and start with self-love and self-care first. And this is not what everybody else is doing and how everybody else says you should do it. It is accessing the wisdom of the heart, right? And there really is no guidebook. There really is no course. Of course you can get tips, but we are so individually unique. It really is hard to classify that growth and that wisdom in, a blanket. This is for everybody, right? And so, my love is being able to provide space for people to access this and to watch them come into space in a safe space, to come into themselves in the aha moments and the awarenesses and the hits. And what I'm finding is that listening and supporting in a non-judgmental way is food for the soul. And I feel like Green Tara this week, bringing it back to the card, Green Tara this week can support you in that. I have to say, in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I didn't really have a lot of support, honestly, because I, started this work 15, 16 years ago, and it wasn't as socially acceptable as it is now. So I hid a lot of who I was. And I was very private about all of it. And so I think it's beautiful now that there's so many different varieties of spiritualism, of spiritual development, of support that's out there to assist on your pathway, on this journey. But again, remember, the soul journey is singular, right? In a way. but you don't necessarily have to go it alone. So you may be guided to people who may be struggling, who may be feeling unheard or confused. And, God is using us to love them and encourage them to keep moving forward on their soul journey, right? So I feel like we're moving into this new, different kind of energy of connection, and really being self-aware, really knowing what our triggers are, what our wounds are, and there's so much, support out there for that. Licensed professionals, people who have been working with different areas for so long, and now from there, I feel like we're moving into this new energy. Like, now I know what my wounds are. Now I feel whole. Now what, right? And so I feel like, and I've been saying this, we're moving forward into uncharted territories to be able to expand and grow and learn and heal in ways that we weren't able as the collective to do prior to 2020. So know that if you're on this soul journey, sometimes exploring and putting yourself out there, maybe you happen to find this video and it resonates with you for a while, and then you move on to something else and something else. I find that that's been my journey, and the divine always puts in front of me what I need, even though I don't always know that I need it. Right? Or it will put what's in front of me to see that I have grown or I've moved past something, an experience. So let me see here. So this energy of enlightenment, I feel, is being activated this week. And so again, continuing to practice the stillness, the pause, the rest, the silence, and listening to your heartbeat, listening to the way your body feels, listening to really the repetitive things that you keep hearing in the external world, right? Your feelings matter, and who you are is important in the puzzle, the complete puzzle of the world. All right, so thank you, Tara. The Buddha of enlightened action. And then from there, from that space of wholeness, that's strength within, right? Obviously, we're always working. We're never, complete. There's always more to assimilate and grow in and evolve in. But from that place, then we take inspired action. Right? That which comes to you in joy is a byproduct of the inner work that you've done for yourself, right? And then you truly start living. You're not doing something to get something anymore. Like, I'm going to do this manifesting and I'm going to do all these things to get blah, blah, blah. Well, you may get that, certainly. But what happens most often is it's not sustainable. And it doesn't bring the satisfaction or the peace or the joy or the happiness that you thought it would. And so I'm really on this mission to share and imprint the energy of well-being and living in inspired action. And that means being present and taking action based on what's here in front of you. Listening, being observant. And I feel like this is the new way of living, capital L, living. For eons, many of us have been living with the lowercase l, and now we're living or learning to live and feel alive without needing anything, without accomplishing anything, without achieving anything, just enjoying the sacred gifts of the moment, because that's when you get lit up. That's when you then align to all that which is the divine wants to surprise you with, right? So I feel like we're outgrowing these outdated spiritual teachings that have been out there for so long. And so many of you are learning new ways. But I want to encourage you. I know there's a lot of you that might still be in hiding or might still be, working on your self-esteem and your worth and your value. But know that it's coming. Know that if you're feeling it, if you're feeling that energy bubble up. It's only a matter of time before you'll be called to inspired action. And so I feel like Green Tara is getting ready to support you in that. All right, so that was a big intro. Lots of good messages. So Green Tara, that all being said, what message of healing do you have for the Earth Angels to support them in this enlightened action, inspired action that may be upon them sooner than later? All right, let's go with this one. Divine patience. Oh, this couldn't be any more perfect. So, of course, 4 + 6 = 10, 10 = 1. So it starts with divine patience, right? So you might feel all that stuff bubbling up. I feel like I have so much to say, so much that I've learned. I'm still working with how I'm going to present that, right? So it's not going to be on a platform like YouTube. It's going to be more in a contained space where, you know, people who want to be here or people who want to learn more will be present with it. So, you know, community. So I'm still working with that energy. And so here's this patience that comes in. So the message of healing this week says, my soul brings forth the right conditions and opportunities for me. The best answers and solutions are delivered at the best time. See, we have this action right here, and you could be feeling it. You could be wondering, trying to do like, what do I take next, and what do I learn next, and how do I do this? But we have to understand that this patience energy, I feel, is a very feminine energy. Patience. Well, I should say, I don't want to pigeonhole it to like one energy. Patience is something that I find that the feminine dominant people out there is where we have to start first, because so many of us are action oriented. But if we're taking action based on influence, because this person says you should do it like this, or somebody says this is the only way, what happens is it pigeonholes. Or if you're looking at others and the way they do things, it puts you in a place of influence, right? And it may work for a while, but it's not going to sustain because it's not your way, right? And so the exciting thing that I'm looking forward to is how Earth Angels show up in new ways, how Earth Angels are inspired to break the mold, to cut past the same mundane, boring information that's just regurgitated over and over again. And I just feel, because I work with you, I sit with you, I hear you, I listen, and there's so many, and the beauty that I get is I almost get the vantage point from, like, let's say sitting on a mountain. And I'm not saying sitting on a mountain because it's like higher or better, but I get this vantage of like a bird's eye view, and I can see what's happening with the way my sessions unfold and how there's themes, right, that comes out in the work. So I was curious the other day to how many sessions I've had. Now, I started recording sessions back in, I think it goes all the way back to 2014. But I opened my practice in 2007. So since 2014, I have 2,634, so 2,000 or 3,000. I think it's 2,634 sessions logged. And that doesn't include classes and trainings that I've taught, speaking engagements, group readings, and things like that. So I have practice. I have experience. So let's say it's well over 3,000 at this point. And so I get to sit on this, like, let's say this mountain or this higher vantage point, and I get to see. And so what I notice is that a lot of people that come into my office, they don't know that they are in perfect alignment, and that their pain and their struggles and their confusion and their frustration is actually their pathway to healing. And there are a whole bunch of people that are in that same space. And it's pretty miraculous. It's pretty amazing. And this is why I feel like I want to start talking about these things. So we have less isolation, right? No pun intended. We have less isolation and more connection, right? So that's been the agenda. That's been the theme the last couple of years of separation, right? And now I feel like in this 6th year of connection and family, we're now getting to reinvent the way that we do that. So having patience with the ideas, the seeds that are planted, and knowing that it's going to take time. I think, we live in a world that's short term, right? I'm just going to do this to get through the week, to get through the month, to get through the year. I'm just going to do this just to get by. I'll do it now and then I'll worry about it later. Well, that energy it's not possible on the spiritual journey. You have to remember that on this spiritual journey, this growth that we're going through is a lifetime, right? It's long term. And so even though, yes, life is short, life is really, really long. And there is plenty of time to do and experience everything that your heart desires that's in alignment with the essence of who you are. The plan is already set, right? It's how we get there and our free will and how we move forward in that. And what I have found is that nothingness and silence and patience has gotten me a lot farther than hustle and hunt and action under influence ever has. So I guess I feel like we're changing the way we do things. And it's based on our own experiences. And we're really kind of clearing out what has been done in the past. And what's going to happen is, I've definitely tried to do things the way other people have done it or the way I've been told I should. And I needed those experiences to realize within myself, I don't like this. This doesn't work for me. I don't want to do this anymore. So I needed those experiences. So you might be outgrowing some ways of being or some old programs this week. And so I want to speak to that peace part of you, right? That love part of you, that patience part of you, that even though you feel like it might all be confusing and overwhelming, know that you are on the pathway to healing and growth. And it is going to be most beneficial that your challenges and adversity and your struggles are going to be what will slingshot you forward in miraculous ways. All right, so action cards. All right, Green Tara, that being said, what action steps can the Earth Angels take this week to support them in their healing journey? Action steps. Wow, okay. Well, so we have time to decide. And that was like an exclamation point. So it says, make a decision now so you can move forward. And I feel like this is make a decision with how you want to feel. How you want to feel going forward. And again, I want to take it back to influence, which is in the mind, or inspiration, which is in your heart, and that pull forward. And so this week, again, with the beginning of the intro message with Archangel Michael coming in, and then like the fear stuff and the worries and the doubts, and then paying attention to that, and then right after hearing the mourning dove and hearing the cooing, which to me, the mourning doves represent peace, and they represent love. Unconditional love, and it's very soothing to me. I always listen. The peace doves remind me of the Archangel Shamuel, who is the angel of peace, and then also the Holy Spirit, the energy of divine wisdom. So whenever I hear the cooing of the mourning doves, I pause and I just listen. I listen to them. I receive the medicine, right? And this is a big word, practicing receiving, right? So time to decide. Wisteria, from the wisteria plant, I feel like if you're challenged with a decision or you need to move forward, being able to pause and open space to hearing internally a way forward and having patience, knowing that you cannot micromanage the universe. You can certainly try. I have tried for many years. It does not work. And it actually creates more depression and frustration and sadness and loneliness. And so your relationship with the divine is ultimately your number one relationship with yourself. And remember, the divine is you. So this is where we've been kind of repairing this work and doing this healing work these last, few years, or starting in 2017. And now here we are in 2022. And so now it's time to decide, do you want to keep living the way you've been living? And if it's not bringing you peace and joy and laughter and play and adventure and freedom, you get to decide. And so sometimes it comes from that energy of surrender. All right, God, a few years ago, not a few years ago, cancel that, last year around May, I was just like, all right, God, I have no idea what I'm doing. I thought I knew, and I now have no idea what I'm doing, and I surrendered it. And for me, this was with regards to partnership and romantic relationships. And I just looked up and I just said, if thy will is for me to be with myself and be of service to others, I accept that. I went through a bunch of difficult experiences over a lot of years, and I was just over it. And I had been doing a lot of self-healing, self-work. And last May, I was just like, I surrender it, God. If this is your plan for me, so be it. It's kind of like Jesus in the garden, right? If this is your plan for me, God, if this is your will, then so be it. And I surrendered it. And I decided that I was tired of feeling incomplete without what society said. You're a beautiful girl, and, if you want to have family, you need to, get married, and you need to have children, and you need to do all these things. And, I really struggled with the stigma of what society put on, me as a feminine, resonating a feminine person in this world. And so I just decided in that moment, I am living my best life right here and right now. And I'm going to start living it without that outside energy that says I'm not whole and complete because I don't have A, B, C, and D, or my life doesn't look like, A, B, C, and D. And so it was that point when I completely surrendered, family and children and, romance and connection and partnership and, obviously shortly after that, that is when, I met Nick, and things have been uneventful with Nick and I. And I say that, in the most beautiful way, because my history with, relationships and, in general, just friendships and partnerships and clients' relationships, all those things were a roller coaster, and highs and lows, and feeling abundant and completely empty and, financially destitute. And there's been these constant extremes. And once I decided to be okay and love me as I am, where I'm at, in feeling complete within myself, the connection with Nick and the connection with friends that have come into my life, and the experiences I have in my career and my work life and the opportunities I've had, I feel like are all a byproduct of me finally putting myself at first and accepting my life is going to be the way I want it to be, period, end of story, or the way that it is for me right here, right now. I completely accepted that. So again, this week, you might have these dreams, these desires, but it's time to decide, is the way you're feeling contributing to the quality of life that you're creating for yourself? And if it's not, surrender it. there's no action to be done right now. Surrender it and wait for the, not wait, but be open to receiving guidance from the Holy Spirit, from Green Tara, right? From the divine, from God, to support you forward. And I can tell you the doors of opportunity, they start blasting open. And you get options, and you get to choose more of this, more of that. And, I'm very grateful for the wholeness of my life right now and the fullness of it. And it's uneventful, and it's a treasure, and it's peaceful. And it's exciting. I don't want to say uneventful in a way that it sounds bad. It's exciting, but there's no expectations, right? There's no pressure. We accept each other as we are 100%. It's unconditional love, right? And it's a new experience for me. And I have seen it with couples and men and women that are coming through my doors and are experiencing that in partnership and continuing to evolve and grow spiritually. And it really is exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how things evolve over the next couple of years. What you see isn't always the truth. What is presented to you is not always the reality of what actually is. So that being said, I'm going to ask Green Tara, from the secret language of light, what are the earth angels being gifted with this week? What are the earth angels being gifted with this week? What are the earth angels being gifted with this week? Let's go with these two as they popped out. Is there only two? Yes. Okay, so the first gift is color. So I always connect color with the feminine energy. If you think about artwork, the black lines, I feel like are the structure and are a beautiful part of artwork, and to me, I feel like that is masculine energy, black lines, clean lines, structure, and the feminine energy is color. And when you blend like the black lines, the bold lines, and then the color, it makes incredible art. And so we're working on these energies within, right? Strengthening your own inner masculine and feminine energy, right? Being able to work with your own masculine energy with, financial security and keeping yourself safe and setting boundaries and, tuning in to what's going to work with you. And then your color, which is your radiance, it's your laughter, it's your movement, it's your joy, it's your excitement, it's your connection and feeling, right? And we all have these parts within us that are marrying in healthier ways now, right? And then from there, anything that comes in is a byproduct of that alignment, that connection that you feel within. So I feel like this week you're being gifted with color, beauty, radiance. So maybe getting outside and seeing signs of spring. I went for a physical therapy appointment, and as I was walking in to the appointment, I saw these beautiful purple flowers outside, and I was so surprised because spring popped, and I hadn't really noticed, I knew that it was starting, but it was like, boom, they were like out and they were right there. And I was like, oh, hello, spring. And so maybe you'll be surprised with color this week and, signs of spring. And maybe you'll be in the mood to wear color to kind of come out of this cave that we've all been in mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and really activate the energy of color and radiance and beauty. And then the other card, oh, it's perfect. Soul family. You're going to be gifted, right? With support and love and connection. So, and again, being open to receiving this. The people that are in my life now aren't people that I ever expected to really connect with and resonate with. Sometimes we don't know that we don't know. And sometimes you think you're living until you really start living. And you realize, and we're starting to see this in the spiritual community, like there's this expectation of the way things should be and need to be. And, you know, those who are alive and really living are growing past those paradigms. And I don't want it to sound like one is better than the other, because it's all a pathway. It's a journey, right? You know, a child needs to learn their ABCs and each letter before they can read. A child needs to learn addition and subtraction before they can do multiplication and division, right? It's the same on the spiritual journey. So be open to receiving, you know, there's nothing that you have to do. Be open to receiving the gift of color. Be open to receiving the gift of soul family and what that looks like. And in a way, we have to release our expectations and judgments of the way other people are doing it, or the way they're experiencing it, or how you've done it in the past, which is part of the work as well. All right, so we have 1 here, 4 plus 6. We have the 4 here, which is an angel number. 4 is get back to work energy. It's a worker bee energy. We have the 3 and the 6 here, which equals 9, which is completion. So ironically, we have, you know, the 1 here and the 9 here. Again, the cycle. So divine patience for, you know, these things coming together. Maybe you're moving, maybe you're looking for a house, maybe you're, you know, searching community, maybe you're opening spiritually and curious about a soul family, like a divine family, and guides to work with. You know, it's my intention with these readings is to share many different guides so that you can start creating a soul family. And right, as above, so below. From that soul family, then you start attracting in naturally as a byproduct those energies that you feel comfortable with and safe with and loving and nurtured by. They show up in your life, and it's better than you could ever imagine. But it starts with this patience, right? To be open and receptive and having some play. This last couple weeks, the messages have been about play and laughter and prosperity and abundance. You know, I saw a turkey the other day. It was raining really bad out, and I was making a return. I was on my way to go return a pair of pants, and I saw one lone turkey in the field, and I just got excited. I'm like, hi, turkey. You know, it just kind of reminded me of the blessings, of the abundance that's all around us when we're present and we're listening and we're open to receiving it. So final message here, let's say, final message from the Wild Offering Oracle. All right, so what is the overall prayer? What is the overall message for the EarthAngel Collective this week? Green Tara. Creative blocks. If you are an artist of any kind, you can offer all work to the divine, making it God's alone. I offer this for the highest good to benefit the planet. Release me from any blocks and restrictions. May this serve all who need. I think this is wonderful. It speaks to that part of us kind of coming out, no longer hiding, no longer belittling our creativity, our gifts, our strengths, you know, being a good listener, healer, you know, being somebody who has the time to be able to support others in the world. These are all gifts that aren't necessarily rewarded like, you know, fancy TV shows or, you know, the best parties or the in crowd, right? Or what society says is success. And so a lot of earth angels downplay their gifts because it's not necessarily society's way of saying, you know, you matter. And we're changing that. I'm just seeing it everywhere that's changing. So again, this week, if you're growing something, if you're working towards something, or you're making changes, or you're healing, I feel like this message is, if you've done all you can do, give it to God, right? Allow the doors of opportunity to open. And that's where, it's a great beginning and ending, right? And allow Green Tara to support you. Your soul informs you every step of the way. That is you, right? Creator God is you inside, right? It's you are divine personified. So I feel like you're being asked to get in touch with that part of you, and that blasts away the ego mind of limitation, right? And what you can do and how you move forward. And again, sometimes that's just sometimes that is growing a garden in your backyard and creating beauty in your community, in your home, in your space. Sometimes that is donating things that you don't necessarily use, wear, or need anymore, and allowing others who may not be able to receive, who might not be able to afford those things, to be able to appreciate those things as well, right? So we're not talking about like books, totally about books and, popularity. And again, that it can all be a byproduct of, right, us contributing to society in a way that lights us up. So again, that message this week, I offer this for the highest good to benefit the planet. Again, it could be a donation to a food pantry. It could be support. It could be you getting some extra rest because you might be feeling sluggish or tired. Your family will love you for that. Because really, when you feel good, the people around you feel good, right? And when they feel good, the people around them feel good. It could be giving a mom who's maxed out some time, babysitting. It could be a visit to an elderly senior citizen this week. It could be bringing food to somebody who you may not have. Just listen to the wisdom of the heart. Listen to, the inspired action that you get this week. You'll be amazed how, small acts of kindness, even just to yourself, sleeping in a little bit more, even when you have a lot of things to do, it radiates and the energy shifts around you tenfold. So beautiful. All right, friends, on that note, I'm going to close space for us this week. So let me thank all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with these messages for you today. Of course, I want to thank Green Tara for her guidance, and I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And so it is. All right, friends. So if I can support you in any way, I encourage you to scroll through my playlists and my pick a card readings. There might be guidance there for you. My calendar is open. So, if you want some support or some guidance or a check-in, I still have in-office and online video chat sessions available. And if you are looking for a video chat session, my time slots are limited for those. So if you are looking for a session online via Zoom or FaceTime and you can't find a spot that works for you, you can always email me and we can work something out. All right, friends. It was a pleasure as always, and I love you. I love you for who you are. I love you the way you're showing up in the world. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.